Today you will discover simple, affordable ways to use eggshell, a humble kitchen byproduct that quietly carries far more nutritional value than most people ever realize, especially for calcium and the story of strong, healthy bones. Thank you for giving this subject your time. In the part ahead, easy recipes and practical ideas appear naturally alongside real knowledge about the benefits of eggshell, the minerals it carries, its traditional place in frugal kitchens across generations, and the simple, careful way it can be prepared and added to everyday food and drink. Every idea here is affordable, realistic, and grounded in genuine nutrition, the kind of small habit that turns something usually thrown away into something genuinely worth keeping using only a little patience, an ordinary oven, and a simple kitchen grinder. Here is a number worth sitting with for a moment. Eggshell is made up almost entirely of calcium carbonate, the same sturdy mineral compound that gives bones and teeth their strength. This one detail changes how many people look at the small pile of shells left over after breakfast. What looks like ordinary kitchen waste is in fact a concentrated natural source of one of the most essential minerals the body relies on, sitting quietly in the bin most mornings, rarely given a second thought. Understanding how eggshell supports the body begins with understanding calcium itself, one of the most essential and most quietly important minerals in ordinary daily nutrition. Calcium forms the very structure of bones and teeth, giving them their density and their strength, while also playing a steady, quiet role in normal muscle function and the body's everyday signaling. The body relies entirely on food to supply its calcium day after day across an entire lifetime. This is exactly why natural sources of calcium, even unexpected ones like a clean, well-prepared eggshell, deserve real attention rather than a quick dismissal. Bones may seem like quiet, unchanging structures, but they are actually living tissue, gradually renewing itself across an entire lifetime, quietly at work behind the scenes every single day. Because of this, the body's calcium needs stay relevant at every age, and many people find themselves thinking about bone strength a little more carefully as the years go by. A steady, varied supply of calcium across many years matters far more than any single serving, which is precisely why a small, affordable, repeatable habit fits this particular goal so comfortably. Teeth deserve a mention alongside bones, since they rely on many of the same minerals to stay strong and dense across a lifetime. The enamel that protects each tooth is remarkably hard, built substantially from calcium, and like bone tissue, it benefits from a steady, ongoing supply of this mineral through everyday food rather than any single dramatic source. This is one more reason a simple, varied approach to calcium, eggshell powder included, supports far more of the body than bones alone. There is something quietly remarkable happening inside bone tissue at every moment, even though nothing about it can be seen or felt. Old bone tissue is steadily broken down and replaced with new tissue in an ongoing, lifelong cycle, a little like a building that keeps up its own careful maintenance around the clock. Calcium is the essential material that this constant renewal draws upon, which is precisely why a steady, dependable supply through food matters so much more than any single large amount consumed occasionally. There is a small, delightful piece of chemistry worth knowing here, too. The same calcium carbonate that makes up the great majority of an eggshell is the very compound found in some common everyday tablets that people reach for to settle an unsettled stomach. This is simply a reflection of what calcium carbonate does chemically, a gentle reminder that the mineral inside an ordinary eggshell is exactly the same substance recognized and used elsewhere in daily life, a genuinely familiar everyday compound rather than anything exotic. Beyond that dominant calcium carbonate, eggshell carries a small handful of trace minerals worth knowing about, including gentle amounts of magnesium and phosphorus, both of which work alongside calcium in the body's ongoing bone maintenance. There is also a thin, papery membrane just inside the shell, the one sometimes noticed clinging to the inner surface after cracking an egg. When this membrane stays with the shell through the cleaning and grinding process, it adds its own small share of natural collagen and connective compounds to the finished powder, a gentle bonus layered quietly on top of the calcium already present. Here is a contrast worth pausing on, tiny against enormous. A single eggshell weighs only a few grams and rarely earns a second glance, yet eggs themselves are. Today you will discover simple, affordable ways to use eggshell, a humble kitchen byproduct that quietly carries far more nutritional value than most people ever realize, especially for calcium and the story of strong, healthy bones. Thank you for giving this subject your time. In the part ahead, easy recipes and practical ideas appear naturally alongside real knowledge about the benefits of eggshell, the minerals it carries, its traditional place in frugal kitchens across generations, and the simple, careful way it can be prepared and added to everyday food and drink. Every idea here is affordable, realistic, and grounded in genuine nutrition, the kind of small habit that turns something usually thrown away into something genuinely worth keeping, using only a little patience, an ordinary oven, and a simple kitchen grinder. Here is a number worth sitting with for a moment. Eggshell is made up almost entirely of calcium carbonate, the same sturdy mineral compound that gives bones and teeth their strength. This one detail changes how many people look at the small pile of shells left over after breakfast. What looks like ordinary kitchen waste is, in fact, a concentrated natural source of one of the most essential minerals the body relies on, sitting quietly in the bin most mornings, rarely given a second thought. Understanding how eggshell supports the body begins with understanding calcium itself, one of the most essential and most quietly important minerals in ordinary daily nutrition. Calcium forms the very structure of bones and teeth, giving them their density and their strength, while also playing a steady, quiet role in normal muscle function and the body's everyday signaling. The body relies entirely on food to supply its calcium day after day across an entire lifetime. This is exactly why natural sources of calcium, even unexpected ones like a clean, well-prepared eggshell, deserve real attention rather than a quick dismissal. Bones may seem like quiet, unchanging structures, but they are actually living tissue gradually renewing itself across an entire lifetime, quietly at work behind the scenes every single day. Because of this, the body's calcium needs stay relevant at every age, and many people find themselves thinking about bone strength a little more carefully as the years go by. A steady, varied supply of calcium across many years matters far more than any single serving, which is precisely why a small, affordable, repeatable habit fits this particular goal so comfortably. Teeth deserve a mention alongside bones, since they rely on many of the same minerals to stay strong and dense across a lifetime. The enamel that protects each tooth is remarkably hard, built substantially from calcium, and like bone tissue, it benefits from a steady, ongoing supply of this mineral through everyday food rather than any single dramatic source. This is one more reason a simple, varied approach to calcium, eggshell powder included, supports far more of the body than bones alone. There is a small, delightful piece of chemistry worth knowing here too. The same calcium carbonate that makes up the great majority of an eggshell is the very compound found in some common everyday tablets that people reach for to settle an unsettled stomach. This is simply a reflection of what calcium carbonate does chemically, a gentle reminder that the mineral inside an ordinary eggshell is exactly the same substance recognized and used elsewhere in daily life, a genuinely familiar everyday compound rather than anything exotic. Before going further, here is the foundation that makes every other idea in this story possible. The simple, careful way eggshell is prepared before it ever reaches a plate or a glass. Shells from about half a dozen eggs are rinsed thoroughly under cool water, then gently scrubbed with a little baking soda to lift away any residue, leaving the surface clean and fresh. From there, a brief boil, roughly 10 minutes in a small pot of water, helps prepare the shells thoroughly, and a stretch of time in a moderate oven, somewhere around 10 to 15 minutes, dries them until they turn fully crisp and pale. Once cooled, the dried shells go into a small coffee or spice grinder and are ground until only a fine, even powder remains. A quick rub of a pinch between clean fingers confirms the texture is soft and smooth throughout, exactly what makes this powder so easy and pleasant to fold into food. Stored afterward in a small sealed jar in a cool, dry cupboard, this powder keeps well for several months, ready in small amounts whenever it is wanted. Making a slightly larger batch at once using shells saved gradually over a week or two of ordinary cooking is a practical way to make this process go further between batches. A clean, dry jar with a tight lid is really all the storage this powder asks for, and keeping it away from steam or moisture, perhaps tucked in a cupboard rather than left near a stove, helps it stay fresh, dry, and easy to use for a good long while. That fine, finished powder is worth pausing on because grinding it thoroughly does two things at once. It turns the shell into something soft and unnoticeable in food and drink, and it also appears to help the body take up the calcium more easily, since a fine, evenly ground powder offers far more surface area than a rough or coarse one. Many people find that roughly half a teaspoon of this powder, drawn from a couple of well-prepared shells, offers a meaningful few hundred milligrams of calcium, a genuinely useful contribution toward what many adults look for across an ordinary day. One of the simplest ways to enjoy this powder is stirred into a small glass of fresh orange juice or another citrus juice, using about a quarter to half a teaspoon at a time. The natural brightness of citrus juice pairs well here, since its gentle acidity is often associated with easier calcium absorption, and it also softens any mineral taste the powder might otherwise carry. A comfortable time for this is the morning, alongside breakfast, and many people find it a pleasant, easy habit to return to a few times a week. The story of using eggshell this way is far older than it might first appear. Long before modern nutrition science examined calcium in detail, resourceful households in many parts of the world understood that little should go to waste in a kitchen, and the eggshell fit that same resourceful mindset perfectly. Across generations of frugal, careful cooks, ground eggshell found its way back into food as a quiet homemade source of calcium, passed down as ordinary household knowledge rather than anything written in a book. This is a genuine piece of culinary tradition, told here as exactly that, a resourceful, practical custom shaped by generations who understood the value of what many others simply discarded. This kind of resourcefulness tended to run strongest in households where nothing edible was allowed to go to waste, particularly in rural kitchens and among families raising their own chickens, where a steady supply of fresh shells was simply part of daily life. In many of these settings, the shells were dried near a warm stove or hearth and crushed by hand long before electric grinders existed, then stirred into porridge, bread dough, or animal feed alike. It is a lovely thought that the careful modern process described here, involving an oven and a coffee grinder, is really just a more convenient version of something resourceful cooks were already doing by hand for a very long time. Versions of this same resourceful thinking appear across many different food cultures, wherever eggs have long been part of daily cooking. Whether ground shells were stirred into a family's own bread, added to livestock feed to keep hens laying well, or simply saved out of habit by cooks unwilling to waste anything useful, the underlying idea stayed remarkably consistent from region to region. A humble byproduct, quietly repurposed rather than discarded, long before anyone framed it in the language of modern nutrition. There is a gentle nutritional partner worth knowing about here as well. The body absorbs and uses calcium far more effectively with the help of vitamin D, which is why the two are so often mentioned together in conversations about bone health. A little time in daylight, a serving of fatty fish, or even the egg yolk that once sat beside that very shell all offer a source of vitamin D, making a simple pairing of eggshell calcium with any of these a naturally sensible, well-rounded choice. For anyone just beginning this habit, starting with an even smaller amount, perhaps an eighth of a teaspoon, stirred into a favorite food or drink, is a perfectly comfortable way to grow familiar with it before settling into a regular quarter or half teaspoon. Listening to what feels right for an individual routine matters more than following any fixed number, and anyone already enjoying plenty of calcium from dairy, leafy greens, or fortified foods may simply choose to use a little less, adjusting this gentle habit to fit comfortably alongside everything else already on the plate. A comforting way to use the same powder appears in a warm smoothie. Blending it into a mix of banana, a handful of berries, and a spoonful of plain yogurt with about a quarter teaspoon of the powder stirred in at the end. The creamy texture of the smoothie hides any hint of the powder completely, while the yogurt adds its own calcium alongside it, making this a naturally reinforcing, comfortable combination. This fits well as a breakfast or a midday choice, and it is gentle enough to enjoy several times a week with real ease. Another comforting version uses a small glass of warm milk, or a plant-based milk if preferred, stirred with about a quarter teaspoon of the powder in the evening. Many people find this a calming, familiar ritual before rest, echoing an old, simple habit shared across countless households long before anyone spoke of calcium in scientific terms. Two natural sources of calcium meeting in one warm, unhurried glass is a small comfort that has stayed relevant across a very long time. It helps to know which shells work best for this kind of preparation. Shells from fresh eggs that have been kept properly refrigerated are the easiest to work with, and using them within a few days of cracking the egg, rather than letting them sit around the kitchen, keeps the whole process simple and pleasant. A light rinse right after cracking to clear away any egg whites still clinging to the inside makes the later washing and scrubbing quicker and easier. None of this calls for anything beyond what an ordinary kitchen already has on hand. Baked goods offer a wonderfully quiet way to include this powder in daily meals. A half teaspoon stirred into the batter for a loaf of bread, a dozen muffins, or a stack of pancakes disappears entirely once baked, adding its calcium while keeping the taste, texture, and appearance of the finished food exactly as familiar as always. Finished food in any noticeable way. This is a particularly easy method for households already used to baking regularly, since the powder simply becomes part of a dish already being made. Your attention allows a humble, overlooked ingredient to be explored far more deeply than a quick glance ever could, and the most practical part is still ahead. A simple bowl of plain yogurt drizzled with a little honey and stirred with a quarter teaspoon of the powder makes a pleasant, calcium-rich snack or breakfast in its own right. The natural sweetness of the honey balances any mineral note, and the yogurt's own thick, cool texture makes the whole bowl comfortable to eat at almost any time of day. This is an especially easy option for anyone who prefers a gentler, food-based way to enjoy the powder rather than a drink. Savory dishes welcome this powder just as easily as sweet ones. A pinch stirred into a pot of soup or stew near the end of cooking blends in seamlessly, adding a mineral boost to a lunch or dinner using only what is already being cooked. This is a useful reminder that eggshell powder fits just as comfortably beyond breakfast, and it fits naturally into whichever meal already includes a warm, savory dish. A simple homemade salad dressing offers another easy home for this powder, whisked together with olive oil, a little lemon juice, and a touch of mustard, with a small pinch of the powder blended in at the end. Once again, the lemon's gentle acidity works alongside the powder in a helpful way, supporting easier absorption while brightening the dressing's flavor. Poured over a bowl of fresh greens, this becomes a simple, practical way to fold a mineral-rich habit into an ordinary meal, especially satisfying at lunch or dinner alongside a colorful plate of vegetables. For anyone who prefers the plainest possible way to begin, a small glass of water with a squeeze of lemon and a quarter teaspoon of the powder stirred in offers the gentlest version of this habit, free of any other flavors or textures. This suits anyone easing into the idea for the first time or anyone who simply prefers simplicity over a more elaborate recipe, and it can be enjoyed just as comfortably as any of the other methods described here. A warm bowl of oatmeal or porridge is a lovely place for this powder as well, stirred in during the last minute of cooking along with whatever fruit, honey, or nuts usually finish the bowl. Since oatmeal already carries a soft, warm character, the powder disappears into it completely, making this one of the easiest possible ways to build the habit into an already familiar morning routine. One small detail changes how comfortably all of this fits into daily life, and it has nothing to do with taste or texture at all. Because the powder is used in such small amounts, a single well-prepared batch tends to last for weeks rather than days, which means the whole practice asks for only a short burst of effort every so often, followed by a long stretch of simply enjoying the results. As for how much and how often, a quarter to half a teaspoon of this powder once a day or every couple of days sits comfortably within a very balanced routine for most people. Enjoying it alongside a meal rather than on its own tends to feel most comfortable, and a modest, steady rhythm serves this habit far better than a large amount all at once. People with individual dietary needs or particular mineral considerations often benefit from personalized guidance on calcium sources, and that thoughtful personal care always suits a balanced life beautifully. Knowing when to use this powder really comes down to whichever moment already fits naturally into an existing routine. Morning suits anyone who already enjoys juice or a smoothie with breakfast. Evening suits anyone drawn to a warm, calming glass before rest. And mealtime suits anyone who prefers folding it quietly into a soup. Dressing or bowl of oatmeal already being made, any of these moments works equally well, whichever one turns this small habit into something easy to repeat. Variety remains the quiet secret behind all good nutrition, because the body flourishes on a range of calcium sources rather than any single one, however useful that one source happens to be. Dairy foods, leafy greens, and a small, carefully prepared amount of eggshell powder can all sit comfortably within the same varied week, each contributing its own share to the same steady, lifelong goal of strong, well-supported bones. There is real freedom in seeing eggshell this way, as one small, affordable part of a much larger, ongoing habit, rather than a single fix to remember perfectly. It asks for patience during preparation and restraint during use, a quarter teaspoon here, a half teaspoon there, gathered gently over time rather than all at once. That gentle, unhurried rhythm is exactly what makes it sustainable, the kind of quiet habit that fits easily around a modest budget in an ordinary kitchen, week after week. Bringing the most useful ideas together, this whole habit really rests on three simple pillars. First, the careful preparation. Washing, boiling, baking, and grinding the shells until a fine, smooth powder remains, then storing it in a small sealed jar for months of easy use. Second, a comfortable daily or near daily amount, roughly a quarter to half a teaspoon, folded into a familiar food or drink already enjoyed, whether that is a morning juice, a smoothie, or a warm bowl of oatmeal. Third, pairing that habit with other calcium-friendly choices, a little vitamin D from daylight or food, and a generally varied, colorful diet, so that many small contributions carry the whole story together. Building healthy habits around the bones is, in truth, the patient work of a lifetime, gathered one small choice and one ordinary meal at a time. A single pinch of powder works gently rather than all at once, and that gentle truth is freeing rather than discouraging, because it means every small, wholesome choice adds quietly to the whole. Eggshell fits into that lifelong picture with remarkable ease, affordable, and endlessly available in any kitchen that already uses eggs, adding its calcium and its gentle trace minerals to countless meals across the years. So the picture of eggshell for bone health comes together clearly and warmly. Its calcium carbonate offers a genuine concentrated source of the very mineral bones and teeth depend on. Its trace minerals add a small, honest handful of extra nourishment. Its careful preparation, once learned, becomes second nature, turning something once thrown away into something quietly valuable. And its simple, affordable versatility means it fits into juices, smoothies, baked goods, and savory dishes alike, asking for little more than a little patience and a coffee grinder. Understood honestly, eggshell is a humble, resourceful companion for the bones, one small thread among many in a colorful, well-rounded diet. There is something quietly satisfying about a story like this one, where genuine nutrition and everyday resourcefulness turn out to be exactly the same idea. Nothing here asks for a special trip to the store, a costly product, or any ingredient beyond what already sits in an ordinary kitchen. A little patience, a warm oven, a simple grinder, and a habit already practiced by careful cooks for generations brought gently into the present. Thank you sincerely for spending this time here and for giving such an overlooked ingredient such thoughtful attention. A simple eggshell, pale and unassuming, carries far more than most people ever pause to consider. Real calcium, gentle trace minerals, a history of resourceful kitchens making the most of what they had, and a simple, careful process that turns kitchen waste into something worth keeping, all rest quietly inside something usually destined for the bin. Whether stirred into a morning juice, folded into a warm bowl of oatmeal, or blended into a favorite smoothie, this humble powder remains one of the simplest, most affordable, and most honest gifts a kitchen has to offer, the bones and the whole body alike. It asks for very little, a little rinsing, a little heat, a little patience with a grinder, and it gives back a steady, quiet contribution to something that matters for an entire lifetime.
time you crack an egg, you are throwing away something that your garden is desperately craving. Most American households consume about a dozen eggs every week. That represents 12 distinct opportunities to nourish your soil for free. Yet most people overlook every single one of them. If you are looking for practical, low-effort strategies to build better soil, you should follow along for new tips every week, all provided for free. Here is the core problem. The majority of gardeners who attempt to use eggshells in their garden perform the process incorrectly. They simply crush them into rough pieces, toss them onto the soil, and then wait for results that never actually materialize. After several weeks pass, they conclude that eggshells do not work, stop bothering with them, and return to purchasing expensive calcium supplements at the garden center. The eggshells themselves were not the issue. The method was. Before we discuss exactly what to do, let's talk about what eggshells actually are. Once you grasp the underlying science, the correct method makes complete sense. An eggshell is approximately 94% calcium carbonate. Calcium stands as one of the most vital secondary nutrients in gardening, yet it is also one of the most frequently overlooked. It is not typically listed on most fertilizer bags because it is generally assumed to be present in healthy soil. However, in garden beds that have been heavily planted season after season, calcium gets depleted much faster than most gardeners realize. When calcium levels run low, you will see the symptoms appearing everywhere. You see blossom end rot on tomatoes and peppers, that dark, sunken patch on the bottom of the fruit that ruins an entire harvest. You see tip burn on lettuce and cabbage, which are those brown, crispy edges that appear despite adequate watering. You see stunted root development, poor cell wall formation, and fruit that splits apart before it even ripens. These are not irrigation problems, they are calcium problems, and eggshells, when used correctly, address them directly. Calcium performs 3 specific functions in your garden. First, it strengthens cell walls, giving plants the structural integrity needed to resist disease, pest pressure, and physical stress. A plant with strong cell walls is much harder for fungal pathogens to penetrate. Second, calcium improves soil structure by binding soil particles together into aggregates, creating that crumbly, open texture that allows air and water to move freely through the soil. Third, calcium helps regulate the uptake of other nutrients. Without adequate calcium, plants struggle to absorb potassium and magnesium, even when those nutrients are present. It is a gatekeeper nutrient. Get it right, and everything else works better. Now, here is why most gardeners fail when using eggshells. The calcium carbonate in whole or roughly broken eggshells breaks down extremely slowly in garden soil. We are talking about a timeline of months to years, not weeks. If you toss a handful of crushed shells on the surface and expect results during this current season, you will be disappointed. The calcium is there, but it is locked inside a form your soil cannot access quickly enough to matter. The solution is preparation, and it takes only about 60 seconds. The first method is fine powder application. Collect your eggshells and let them dry out completely. Leave them in a bowl on the counter for a day or two, or dry them briefly in a low oven. Once they are dry, grind them in a blender, coffee grinder, or food processor until they become a fine white powder. This process dramatically increases the surface area exposed to soil microbes and moisture, which accelerates the breakdown from years down to just weeks. Sprinkle this powder lightly over your garden bed and scratch it into the top inch of soil. Apply this once at the beginning of the season and once mid-season. The second method is direct planting hole application. When transplanting tomatoes, peppers, or any heavy calcium-demanding plant, add a tablespoon of crushed eggshell powder directly into the planting hole before you set the root ball in. As the plant establishes and roots grow downward, they encounter the calcium-rich material exactly where they need it most. This is the most targeted and most effective use of eggshells in the garden, and it is completely free. The third method is a liquid calcium drench. This is the fastest method, and the one most people have never heard of. Take a cup of dried, crushed eggshells and add them to a quart of water with a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. The vinegar reacts with the calcium carbonate and begins dissolving it into a calcium-rich liquid. Let this sit for 48 hours, stirring occasionally. The liquid will fizz slightly as the reaction takes place. After 2 days, strain out the shells and dilute the liquid with 4 parts water. Pour this directly around the base of your plants. The calcium is now in a soluble form that plant roots can absorb within hours, not weeks. Use this for immediate intervention when you see signs of calcium deficiency. When blossom end rot appears or tip burn starts, results are often visible within a week. How long does it take to collect enough eggshells? At 1 dozen eggs per week for a family of 2, you will have enough powder for a standard raised bed within 3 to 4 weeks. If you want to accelerate the process, ask your neighbors or ask your local diner or breakfast cafe. Restaurant kitchens go through flats of eggs daily and almost always discard the shells. A single weekend cafe will give you more eggshells than you can use in an entire season. And here is something worth knowing. Eggshells do not significantly change soil pH. This is a common myth that eggshells make soil more alkaline. In garden quantities, the effect on pH is minimal and temporary. What they do is add calcium to the mineral profile of your soil, which is a completely different thing. So, do not be afraid to use them in beds where you are growing acid-loving plants. The calcium benefit is real. The pH concern is not. Before we wrap up, let me walk you through what a full season of consistent eggshell use actually looks like. Understanding the rhythm helps you get the most out of this habit. In early spring, before you plant anything, sprinkle eggshell powder over your entire bed and work it into the top inch. This builds a baseline calcium reserve in the soil before the growing season begins. When you transplant tomatoes and peppers in late spring, add a tablespoon of powder directly into each planting hole. By midsummer, if you are growing heavy fruiting plants, apply a liquid calcium drench once every 3 weeks as a preventive measure. Don't wait for blossom end rot to appear, because by the time you see symptoms, the damage has already been done for that fruit. In autumn, after you clear the bed, sprinkle another layer of eggshell powder over the surface and let the winter rains work it in. By the following spring, the calcium will have partially broken down and integrated into the soil profile, building on the work you did the previous season. This is the compounding effect of working with organic materials. Each season builds on the last. Each free input adds to a mineral profile that supports stronger, healthier, and more productive plants without a single trip to the garden center and without spending $1. One more thing worth mentioning, and this is something most gardening videos skip entirely. Eggshells also work as a physical deterrent for certain soft-bodied pests. Slugs and cutworms, which are common problems in moist garden beds, dislike crawling over sharp, crushed eggshell fragments. Scatter a ring of coarsely crushed shells around the base of vulnerable plants, seedlings just transplanted, or young lettuce heads, and you create a physical barrier that slows pest damage without any chemical input. It is not a perfect solution, but as a free, zero-effort addition to your pest management, it is one more reason to save every shell. Over a full season of consistent eggshell use, powder in the planting holes, light surface application, and occasional liquid drench, you will see measurable differences. You will see fewer cases of blossom end rot, stronger plant stems, and fruit that holds together better on the vine. The soil will have a slightly more open, workable texture as the calcium aggregates the particles. These are not dramatic overnight transformations. They are the quiet, cumulative results of building soil the right way, with free materials consistently applied season after season. Every egg you crack is a choice. Throw away the shell or invest it back into the garden that feeds you. The plants don't care where the calcium comes from, they just need it to be there. If this gave you one useful idea, leave a comment below. Tell me whether you already save eggshells or if you're starting today. I read every comment, and I'd love to hear from you. If this story changed the way you look at the waste in your kitchen, please subscribe and like the video. We are uncovering the natural secrets that have been overlooked for too long. Let's nourish the future together. Our next garden treasure will be revealed very soon.
Hi, welcome to our channel. If you are new, kindly subscribe and click the bell notifications. Many people are quite familiar with the benefits of eating eggs. As we know, eggs are high in protein, which is essential for muscle growth. Sadly, a lot of people don't know the benefits of eggshells. The eggshells from these eggs are usually thrown away or composted. However, there are many ways to recycle and reuse eggshells rather than trashing them. In this video we are going to outline 20 surprise benefits of eggshells that will blow your mind. After watching this video, you will never throw your eggshells away. Watch till the end for this mind-blowing fact. Let's begin. 1. Improving your garden calcium deficiency. Eggshells can help to make the soil acidic, which will help make the minerals break down into smaller pieces for easier plant absorption. A new study showed that crushed eggshells can help to increase the amount of calcium in gardening soils by up to 30%. This is great news for all gardeners out there, who often struggle with low calcium levels. 2. Adding eggshells to coffee. Adding eggshells to your coffee might seem weird, but this is actually a great way to get calcium. Drinking coffee with eggshells in it can provide calcium, potassium, and phosphorus. Additionally, this is a great way to avoid the bitter coffee. 3. With apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is a natural, organic ingredient that helps to balance pH levels in the body and aid digestion. Adding eggshells to apple cider vinegar can help with calcium production and healthy teeth. 4. Soothe skin irritations. Eggshells can help to soothe skin irritations such as acne and heal wounds. Acne can be caused by different factors, including stress, hormones, and bacteria. Eggshells are the perfect natural remedy for acne-prone skin because they gently soothe irritated skin and heal wounds without harsh chemicals. 5. Used as pesticides. If you have unwelcome pests in your garden, then there is a solution to your problem. Simply crush up the eggshells and sprinkle them around the entrance of your garden or near where those pests visit the most. The sharp pieces of eggshell will act as little spikes that will prevent them from climbing over the fence or entering the garden. 6. Chicken feed recipe. The first thing you can do with your eggshells is simply to toss them back to your chickens. They will happily peck away at them and enjoy the treat. However, it's not just about treats. Eggshells are also great for chickens as they provide them with essential calcium for healthy egg production. 7. Eat the eggshell. Eating eggshells may sound like an odd suggestion, however, it is actually beneficial for your health. Eggshells are rich in calcium and phosphorus. These minerals are essential for healthy bones and teeth. You can consume eggshell by crushing it or boiling it to help you digest food better. 8. Used as pot scrubbers. Have you ever wondered if eggshells can be used as pot scrubbers? Apparently the answer is yes. Eggshells are made of a type of calcium carbonate that can cut through and clean off food residue from your pots and pans. Making the switch to eggshells for scrubbing your pots instead of harsh supplies can help do more than just keep your dishes clean. 9. Used as compost. Eggshells are one of the most overlooked organic materials that can be recycled for composting. There are many ways to use eggshells as composting material, but the easiest way is to let them dry out and then grind them into powder. They'll break down and create a fine compost for your plants to grow. 10. Used as a pain reliever. The eggshell has been found to be a natural pain reliever for those who suffer from chronic and acute pain. A new study in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry found that eggshells dissolved in apple cider vinegar for 15 hours can be used as a pain reliever. 11. Used as anti-inflammatory. The use of eggshells in the treatment of arthritis dates back to ancient times. Arthritis is a chronic condition that affects joints, and inflammation is a major symptom. The pain from arthritis can be relieved by applying eggshells to the affected area. 12. Recipe for dog food. If you have a pet dog or any other sort of furry animal as a part of your family, then you probably want to do all you can to ensure that your pet is as healthy as possible. You can give your dog a calcium by sprinkling it into their food. 14. As a whitening agent. Do you struggle with dingy white clothes? You might be glad to know that eggshells can help whiten them. Simply crush the eggshells in a blender until they form a gritty paste, then rub it all over your soiled clothes. Leave them for about 20 minutes before washing as usual and voila. 14. As a knife sharpener. Instead of investing your time and money in a knife sharpener, use your unused eggshells. Put them in the freezer for some time to make them hard and then use those as a knife sharpener. You'll save money and also do something good for the environment that way. 17. Stops a toothache. Toothaches can be extremely painful and can interfere with your life. It is difficult to find the time to see a dentist when you are in pain. Luckily, there is an easy way to stop a toothache at home. All you need is an eggshell and some water to make a paste and apply it on the affected area. If you find some value in this video, kindly give us a thumbs up and share this awesome video with your friends. Use as facial mask. The use of eggshells in face mask is a new trend. Eggshell is a natural ingredient and it has been used for centuries to heal and beautify the skin. The eggshell works by absorbing excess oils and dirt from the pores. It also contains minerals which can help reduce inflammation, repair damaged skin, and much more. 17. Trap food in your sink. Food particles can often get stuck in a sink. This can be a serious issue if it gets clogged and you're unable to drain the water. Luckily, eggshells can help catch food particles in your sink. This sounds good to be true. Please try it out and let us know in the comments section below. 18. Create mosaic art. Mosaic art is a type of artwork created from small pieces of material such as stone, brick, glass or tiles. The modern-day version can be formed using a wide range of materials including eggshells. 19. Used as herb in garden. You can plant herbs in eggshells and let them grow on your counter. All you have to do is save the shells, open up the carton and start planting. Growing herbs indoors is a time-saving and space-saving idea. This idea takes it one step further and I think it's a really great idea. 20. Used as a garden fertilizer. The thought of using eggshells as a garden fertilizer might seem silly, but it is actually a very effective way to enrich your soil. The calcium in eggshells can boost the growth of plants and the phosphorus and other minerals in eggshells can help your plants grow strong and healthy. Now you have 20 different uses for your eggshells. Some of them are practical and others are just for fun, but it'll be a lot easier to use them up. Which one do you think we missed out? Kindly tell us in the comments section. If you find some value in this video, kindly give us a thumbs up and share this awesome video with your friends. Finally, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more cutting-edge videos like this one.
Imagine cracking an egg and being on the verge of discarding the shell, but then you pause. What if that shell could be so much more than waste? Introducing a world where eggshells unlock a treasure trove of hidden uses, transforming them from mere kitchen scraps into invaluable household assets. Infused with calcium and boasting an ideal abrasive texture, eggshells emerge as the unsung heroes of home economics. It's not just about saving pennies. It's a smarter, greener way to live. Join us as we unveil an array of ingenious eggshell applications that promise to revolutionize your view on what belongs in the bin and what deserves a second chance. Welcome to the ultimate guide to repurposing eggshells, where every shell counts. Number 1. Swap out those microbead-infused cleansers for something unexpected yet extraordinary. You heard it right. Those tiny spherical culprits that have been scrubbing away at your skin might also be scrubbing away at our planet's well-being, one fish at a time. But what if I told you that there's a game changer lying right in your kitchen waste? Eggshells! Before you dismiss the idea, imagine turning these overlooked fragments into your skincare routine's secret weapon. These natural marvels, once dried and finely crushed, can be mixed with the wholesome goodness of an egg white to concoct an eco-friendly skin-revitalizing exfoliator or mask. It's time to give your skin the glow it deserves while keeping our oceans safe. Number 2, transform them with apple cider vinegar for joint relief. Prepare to be amazed by the miraculous benefits of eggshells when combined with apple cider vinegar. Did you know that this simple mixture can be your secret weapon against joint pain? Here's how to tap into this ancient wisdom. Take a small jar and fill it with apple cider vinegar, then gently place 1 or 2 eggshells into it. Seal the jar and let the magic happen over a few days as the eggshells marinate. Why does this work wonders, you ask? Eggshells are packed with incredible nutrients like collagen, chondroitin, glucosamine, and hyaluronic acid, all superstars for supporting joint health. These components slowly leach into the vinegar, creating a potent elixir. Once the eggshell has sufficiently dissolved, this enriched vinegar becomes a powerful remedy. Applying it to your aching joints provides fast, effective relief. This method not only leverages the hidden powers of eggshells, but also turns a common kitchen ingredient into a superhero for your joints. Number 3. Keep stray cats at bay with an eggshell surprise. Are you tired of neighborhood cats turning your beloved garden into their personal litter box? Or maybe harassing your furry friends? Get ready for a game-changing solution that'll make you the hero of your garden saga. Introducing eggshells. Yes, you heard it right. It appears that our feline adversaries are not the biggest fans of walking on eggshells. Who would have thought? This method is astonishingly simple yet effective. Start by gathering eggshells, give them a good rinse, and then crush them into coarse bits. Now here's the fun part. Strategically scatter these crunchy fragments around your garden's hot spots, wherever these whiskered wanderers love to frequent. The idea is that the sharp, jagged edges of the eggshells create a rather uncomfortable walking surface for cats' delicate paws, convincing them to seek alternative routes or lounging spots. It's a kind, harmless way to say, "Paws off my petunias!" With this neat trick, you're not just protecting your garden, you're also recycling eggshells in the most ingenious way possible. Number 4, banish coffee and tea stains with eggshells. Ever looked at your favorite mug, only to find it stained and discolored from your morning brew? Before you even think of scrubbing it desperately or worse, considering throwing it away, we've got a hack that'll save the day and your mug! Did you know the humble eggshell has the power to tackle those stubborn stains? Here's what you do. Take some eggshells and crush them into tiny pieces. Place these fragments into the stained mug, add a splash of water, and just leave it. Let this concoction work its magic overnight. It's like a mini spa treatment for your mug. By morning, the eggshells would have absorbed all those unsightly stains, making your mug look brand spanking new with minimal effort. Say goodbye to endless scrubbing and harsh chemicals. This natural, eco-friendly method not only gives your mugs a second life, but also puts those otherwise discarded eggshells to good use. Trust us, after trying this, you'll never look at eggshells or your coffee-stained mugs the same way again. Number 5, transform them into thriving seed pots. Imagine stepping into the lushness of spring, ready to ignite the growth of your very own garden sanctuary. But here's the twist. You don't need to invest in those tiny pots that barely last a season. Instead, you can create a miracle of life with something as simple as an eggshell. Just gently fill half of an eggshell with rich potting soil. Delicately nestle a seed within its natural confines, and bestow upon it just enough water to awaken its potential. And what about organizing these tiny vessels of life? If you've been saving your egg cartons, you've unknowingly prepared the perfect cradle for your seedlings. It's a sustainable, cost-effective method that not only gives your seeds a strong start, but also recycles in the most charming way. Watching these seeds sprout from the shells is not just gardening. It's a tiny act of magic you're bringing to life right at your fingertips. Number 6. Transform your garden with eggshells. Imagine turning what you once considered trash into treasure for your garden. Yes, those eggshells you're about to throw away hold the secret ingredient to a thriving garden: calcium. Just as eggshells are a powerhouse of nutrients for your chickens, they're equally miraculous for your plants, especially if you're into growing bell peppers or juicy tomatoes. Have you noticed the frustrating condition known as blossom end rot, where the bottom of your fruit just gives up and rots away? This not only compromises the fruit's quality, but also diminishes your garden's overall bounty. The good news is, a sprinkle of crushed eggshells around the base of your plants can act as a calcium feast, combating blossom end rot and ushering in a new era of garden health and productivity. With this simple hack, you're not just recycling, you're creating a cycle of growth and vitality in your own backyard. Number 7. Transform your compost game with eggshells. Wondering what's the ultimate hack for your compost pile? Look no further than your very own kitchen. Those eggshells you've been tossing out hold the secret to supercharging your compost like never before. Eggshells aren't just waste, they are a powerhouse of nutrients, swiftly breaking down to enrich your compost with an impressive blend of calcium, potassium, magnesium, and a suite of trace minerals. This nutrient cocktail doesn't just feed your plants, it creates a thriving ecosystem for them to flourish beyond your wildest gardening dreams. But hold on, there's a pro tip before you get started. Cleanliness is key. Ensuring your eggshells are free from any harmful bacteria is crucial. A simple yet effective way to achieve this is by giving them a thorough wash and then popping them onto a cookie sheet. Bake them at 150 degrees for 10 minutes, and voila, you've got yourself the perfect, safe additive for your compost pile. This trick not only recycles what you already have, but turns your garden into the envy of the neighborhood. Remember, the secret to a lush, vibrant garden could just be sitting in your egg carton. Number 8. Transform your coffee with this simple trick. Have you been on the hunt for the perfect cup of coffee, but find yourself consistently disappointed by the bitterness? Well, prepare to be amazed. We've uncovered a secret that's going to revolutionize your mornings. Before you brew your next pot, take a handful of crushed eggshells and mix them with your coffee grounds. Yes, you heard that right. Eggshells! These aren't just for composting. Packed with calcium, the eggshells act as a natural buffer to the acidity in your coffee, balancing out the flavor and delivering a smoother, more mellow cup that will have you savoring every sip. This is a life hack that not only enhances your coffee experience, but also puts those eggshells to good use. Ready to transform your coffee game? Keep this tip in mind and you'll never look at eggshells or your morning brew the same way again. Number 9. Unlock the secret to budget-friendly calcium supplements with eggshells. Fasten your seatbelts because we're about to dive into a game-changing lifestyle hack that will have you rethinking what you do with your eggshells. Imagine cutting down on your health supplement expenses dramatically. Yes, you heard that right! Those humble eggshells you've been tossing in the trash are nothing short of a calcium goldmine. Studies have illuminated the surprising truth that ground eggshells serve as an exceptional, and often superior, alternative to over-the-counter calcium supplements. The magic lies within the shell of a single egg, harboring approximately 2 grams of calcium. To put that into perspective, it's over twice the daily recommended calcium intake for an adult. The beauty of this natural calcium source? Its versatility. Transform your juices, smoothies, and an array of dishes into calcium-rich concoctions by simply incorporating finely ground eggshells. But wait, there's more! Your furry friends can also benefit from this nutritional hack. Sprinkling ground eggshell into your dog or cat's meal can significantly bolster their bone and dental health. After today, you'll think twice before discarding those eggshells. Number 10. Create your magical household cleaner. Can you believe that those eggshells you've been tossing in the bin have the power to transform into an incredible, eco-friendly cleaning wizard? Yes, you heard it right. These humble eggshells, with their natural abrasiveness, steer clear of the nasty chemicals found in so many of those store-bought cleaners. Now, we're going to show you how to concoct your very own multi-purpose cleaning miracle. Here's the secret recipe. Mix together 1 spoon of finely crushed bone-dry eggshells with 3 tablespoons of baking soda. To activate this concoction, just add a splash of water. Just imagine, this simple mixture can tackle everything from glistening up your stove, scrubbing your pots back to their original shine, making your countertops sparkle, and even getting your shower gleaming like new. After trying this, you'll never look at eggshells or cleaning the same way again. Number 11. Transform your birdseed blend with eggshells. Imagine turning your backyard into a bustling hub for beautiful birds, a sight that not only captivates but also helps keep pesky bugs at bay. Here's a little secret that will make your feathered friends flock to your garden and sing songs of gratitude. Crushed eggshells mixed into their birdseed, It's like throwing a gourmet party for them, especially for the female birds who might be feeling a tad depleted after their egg-laying marathon. This added calcium-rich treat is nothing short of a superhero boost. And if you're thinking, but I don't have a fancy feeder, worry not. Simply sprinkle those crushed shells right on the ground. It's easy, eco-friendly, and an exceptional way to show some love to our winged companions. Number 12. Deter unwanted guests in your garden. Are you tired of constantly battling with pests that treat your garden like their personal playground? Well, it's time to turn the tables with a simple yet astonishingly effective hack. Here's what you need to do. Keep a vigilant eye on the favorite hangouts of these uninvited visitors within your garden. Once identified, strategically scatter crushed eggshells in these hotspots. You might wonder why eggshells. The answer lies in their texture. Slugs, snails, and other soft-bodied critters detest the sharp edges of broken eggshells, making it a natural pest repellent. By employing this genius hack, you'll notice these pests will think twice before making another appearance in your garden, letting your plants thrive in peace. Say goodbye to chemical repellents and hello to this eco-friendly, cost-effective solution. After discovering this trick, you'll never look at eggshells the same way again. Number 13. Feed them to your clucking companions. Imagine transforming what you once thought of as mere kitchen waste into a powerhouse supplement for your backyard chickens. That's right. Those eggshells you've been tossing into the trash hold the secret to stronger, healthier eggs from your hens. Hens are in constant need of calcium to lay eggs with robust, thick shells. And those discarded eggshells are a treasure trove of this essential mineral. Crush or powder those shells and sprinkle them into your feathered friend's diet. But here's a pro tip. Avoid feeding them whole shells. You wouldn't want your clever ladies developing a taste for their own eggs protection. This little hack is more than just a recycling trick. It's a circular feeding miracle that benefits your entire backyard ecosystem. And there we have it, folks. 13 incredible, easy-to-implement life hacks that repurpose eggshells into something useful for your daily life, garden, pets, and even your morning coffee ritual. From boosting your health with calcium supplements to creating your own eco-friendly household cleaner, these tips show there's immense value in what we might otherwise consider waste. It's all about looking at the ordinary and seeing the potential for extraordinary sustainability. Now, we're curious to hear from you. Have you tried any of these eggshell hacks before? Or do you have any other amazing eggshell uses up your sleeve? Drop a comment below to share your experiences and thoughts with us. Don't forget to hit the like button if you found these hacks helpful and subscribe to our channel for more life-changing tips and tricks. Your support helps us bring more great content your way.